Questions 38 through 41 will be on this video, and it is part B1. Base your answers to questions 38 through 41 on the passage and map below. The map shows sections of the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico. The title is Shipwreck. In 1641, the crew of the ship Conception used the sun and stars for navigation. The crew thought that the ship was just north of Puerto Rico, but ocean currents had carried them off course. The ship hit a coral reef and sank off the coast of the Dominican Republic. The X on the map marks the location of the sunken ship. Whenever you have something like this, it's always really important for you to try to locate yourself and try to figure out if you know where you are. They show you up here that this is Florida, right? It's the city of Miami, and that should be familiar with you. So we know that that's the tip of the United States there. We have Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, all down in the same area. So we're in the Caribbean Sea, right on the edge there. Number 38. The Conception was carried off course to the northwest by an ocean current flowing from the. What you need to do here is, like I said, you need to locate yourself on this map. It's also important for you to locate yourself on the other maps that we have. If it helps you, you can come down to page 5, and we have the Caribbean plate right down here. Okay, but we really want to concentrate on this map because we are looking for surface ocean currents. So we also can find ourselves right down here. Okay, we know this is North America. This is where we live, and this is Florida down here. Now it's asking you for a northwest current that blew them off course. A lot of you are going to look at this immediately and say, the Gulf Stream current. Oh yeah, that sounds familiar, and you'll just kind of check it. That's my answer. I'm moving on. But the trick here is to see that it's saying northwest. Okay, it has to be northwest. So we have to find a current that could push them northwest. If we come in, and just zoom in a little bit. That's big. Zoom in a little bit, and we're looking for something moving northwest. The only thing that we have moving northwest is the north equatorial current here. It's pushing everything up to the northwest, and it's the only really current here. The Florida current is here, but it's moving in the wrong direction. The Gulf Stream is moving in the wrong direction. The only correct answer that we have here is north equatorial. It's moving northwest. And the North Atlantic is up here, totally far away, definitely doesn't have an effect, and moving in the opposite direction. So the correct answer here is going to be number 4, north equatorial current. Moving on. Number 39. What is the approximate latitude and longitude of the sunken ship? Now, again, we should go find our location of the sunken ship. Okay, it's right here on this X. And when we look at our map, we can see that it's 20-something. I don't know if it's north or not. And about 70 something, because it doesn't give us a direction on here. So we need to go back to our map, and we need to figure out exactly where we are. So again, we're right down here. This is Cuba. You have Dominican Republic down here, and we need to figure out where we are. So if you see the equator here, you can clearly see that we are talking about an area above the equator. So we're definitely north. Okay, so it's going to be 20 north. And then they have the numbers up here, but again, they don't give you direction. There's only one way to figure out. You need to know the little trick. The trick is that 0 represents the prime meridian. It goes through Greenwich, England, and this is where the center, everything is measured off of. So when we go to the left, we can see that we're going west, which you all should know, and you should see that it is located about 70 degrees longitude. Okay, so you need to remember this prime meridian right here. This 0 degrees measures the center, and everything is measured off that. Going to the left is west, and you'll find out that it's 70 west. So the correct answer would be number 2, 20.5 north and 70 west. Number 40. At which map location does Polaris appear the highest in the nighttime sky? I mentioned Polaris earlier in these videos, in this Regents, that it is the North Star. Okay, you do need to know that it's the North Star. They will not tell you North Star. They'll always say Polaris, so it's important to know. Now the trick here is to try to think about what Polaris really is. Polaris is the North Star, but it's the only star in the sky that doesn't move. It continues just to spin in a circle, or appear to spin in a circle as we rotate. Now, what's important here is to realize that the North Star would be directly above the North Pole. So the North Pole would be 90 degrees north, and you would have to look directly up to see Polaris. If you were at the equator, however, you are at 0 latitude, and it's going to be directly on the horizon if you can see it from the equator. Now, what this tells us is that the further north you are, the further or the higher it will be in the sky. So whatever latitude you're at, let's say you're at 42 latitude, the North Star will be 42 degrees above the horizon. When you're at the equator, you're at 0, so you're at 0 degrees above the horizon, and the North Pole would be 90 degrees above the horizon or directly above head. So using these different cities, we can find where they are, and whichever one is the furthest north will have Polaris will appear the highest at the nighttime sky. So San Juan, Puerto Rico is down here. We have Kingston, Jamaica over here. Havana, which seems kind of high, but the correct answer is Miami, Florida, okay, number 1. And it's Miami, Florida because it has the highest latitude. It's the most north. Moving on. Question number 41. Which tectonic plate is Puerto Rico located? I don't particularly like this question, and I'm going to show you why in a second. But first thing you should really do is you should always locate Puerto Rico. You should locate exactly what you're looking for so you can kind of figure it out. Now it doesn't have the plates on here, so of course, back to our reference table. Now this time we're not using the ocean currents chart. We are going to use the tectonic plates, okay, because it wants to know about the plates. And we also found out that we're in the Caribbean. So let's head down to the Caribbean. Now, when we look at the Caribbean, you could tell that this is the area that we're talking about, but I just want you guys to know why I don't like this question is because it you really can't see what are we looking for? Go back. We were looking for Puerto Rico. You can't really find Puerto Rico on here. It's hard. It looks like it's like right below the end there, so you really can't. I really can't see it well, so I don't like this question. But you can tell it's not up here. It's not north of this area, so it has to be on the Caribbean plate. So if we go back, you can tell that the correct answer is going to be number 3, the Caribbean plate.